everybody, and welcome back to the Girly Girl Bookworm. So today I have a weekly wrap-up for you. I have 5 books to wrap up for you, and then what I am currently reading. So the last wrap-up video you saw, I was reading The Merciless by Danielle Vega. I have a picture of it just because some of the books I sent home with my parents this weekend, they came up to visit and see one of Patrick's football games that they were finally a home game, so we decided to come up and see it. So back to that. I read The Merciless, and that was one messed up story. Like, I was so freaked out by it. Like, it wasn't even, like, scary. It was just, like, repulsive. Like, I was reading it, and there was some really, really disgusting, gruesome parts, and I was literally, like, shrieking. Like, I was kind of like, like, no, no. And, like, I was actually saying it, like, out loud. Like, Patrick thought I was having issues because I was, like, actually commenting, like, while I was, like, reading, and it was, like, so weird. I gave it 3 stars, and even then I was like, I don't even know. Like, it was like, I was so disturbed that I was like, is this a good disturbed or is this a bad disturbed? Because it just was like insane. This was literally like a Mean Girls clique that wanted to exorcise the demon out of another like classmate. And like this other classmate is kind of like along for the ride kind of thing. And it was really messed up. Like, I don't even know what else I can say about it. It definitely was weird. I thought the ending was extremely strange. I wish there was a different ending. It just didn't make much sense or feel like a conclusion. So that was a little weird. But yeah, it was one of those things that, like, I don't even know what to rate it. Like, was that a good feeling or was that a bad feeling? Or was it good because she was actually able to make me feel that way? I don't know. It was insane. So after that, I don't know how I did not have nightmares that night. I decided to pick up Joyland by Stephen King, and I was extremely let down by this book. I gave it 2 stars. This is my very first ever Stephen King novel, and I thought, okay, this is like gonna be one of those ones that like eases me into possibly reading more by him. I had heard it was like a mystery thriller and it takes place in a carnival, and it was like everything up my alley. Like there was a murder mystery going on in it. But I felt like it was more of a self-discovery, like coming of age novel than a thriller. I did not feel like thrillery at all. Like maybe I felt it for like 2 pages that like towards the end of the book, if you've read it, you kind of know where the thriller came from. The paranormal didn't really affect me. The little bit that it was in it, I wasn't freaked out by it or anything. Like, it even, like, it would get to a point where you were like, yes, the suspense is coming, and then it wouldn't. Like, part of it is, like, there's a haunted house, and they're about to go in it, and then out of nowhere, I was like, and then at the end of the ride, and you're like, but I missed the entire middle of the ride. Like, I was expecting to be, like, that was going to be the suspense, that was going to be the thriller, and it just wasn't. Like, it was extremely boring. It was really hard to read and get through. I wanted to DNF it, and that's rare for me to actually want to DNF a book. And I did. I wanted to, but I decided to just push on and finish it, and so I did. It was hard. So 2 stars. Then after that, I decided, I think I read this one next. Frankly, My Dear, I'm Dead by Olivia Washburn. I've been kind of getting like dragged down by like all these dark reads that I've been trying to read. So I wanted to try to pick up something that was kind of lighthearted. I believe I gave this one also 3 stars. I've been really having like a really like middle ground reading month this month. It was very like mediocre when it comes to mystery novels. It's about this woman who's been recently divorced, and she decides to open this like agency which has like literary trips, so like trips based off of books. So like this trip that she's planning for these people, it has to do with Gone with the Wind, and then somebody turns up dead and the mystery behind it, and she kind of gets herself involved in trying to solve the crime. And I just felt like it was very mediocre. I didn't suspect who did it, so that was kind of a good thing. But like, I just felt like it was kind of mediocre slash meh. I just felt like there was a lot of plot holes, and it just didn't make much sense. I think it just expected you to know too much about her background to like it was like they kept mentioning every now and then that she was divorced, but it was like, okay, so what's the point of her being divorced? Like, why is this like part of the story? Maybe that comes into the rest of the series. This is the first book in like 4 books like it. I thought it was alright. Like, it wasn't the best, but it's not like extremely awful either. I mean, it's extremely short too, so it's really kind of quick to get through, but yeah, it was alright. Then, because I've been reading so many like dark books and things, and I was starting to feel like that my TBR pile, because it was so giant, was starting to turn into the feeling of like a job, because I was just like, well, I have to read this because it was on my TBR pile. Like, I have to read it. So I was like, I need to take a break, and I decided to pick up The Kissing Booth by Beth Reckles, because I was like, oh, this is going to be light and fluffy. I was like, this is going to be a quick, easy read. The font is like crazy, but I gave this 3 stars as well, 2.5. No, 2.5 stars. This is about a girl, and she has like a crush on like her best friend, who is a boy, his brother. And then like they decide to set up like a kissing booth for their school thing, and of course, she kisses the brother. Oh my goodness. And then stuff ensues because of it. And this author is 17 years old, and I tried so hard to ignore that. And it was so hard. There was just like, the more like I thought about this, like I even put it in my review, like the more I thought of it, the more things I found that I disliked about it. It's just the characters. And like there was like typos, like percent was PER, and then space cent CENT. And like this takes place in California, but it was talking about football having a semifinal championship thing in the spring. Like this takes place in April, May, and football season is way over by then. So I don't know what was going on with that. And I just felt like, I don't know, like this was really, 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 really dragged out to the point where like I had like over 100 pages to go, and I was like, there's no more storyline. Where are you taking this? There is no more point. You've solved the problem. Like, and it's just like towards the end it was just dragging and dragging, and it was just, no, I don't recommend this book. And then I decided, let's go back to the TBR, and I picked up The Nightmare Dilemma by Mindy Arnett. This is the sequel to The Nightmare Affair, and I gave this one 4 stars. This actually had a really rough start, though, for me. The first 130-ish pages were really hard to get through because I could not remember for the life of me what happened in The Nightmare Affair or the world, because I read The Nightmare Affair a year ago today. I think a year ago today when I looked it up. And I didn't remember it, and this doesn't really do a really great job of recapping because I couldn't remember this world. They kept mentioning the whale, and I was like, I don't even remember what the whale is. And like, so the first 140 pages kind of were like a struggle where I was kind of like just reading it, and I'm like, I don't even know what's happening and what the point of this is for. And then I finally was like, just read it for what it is, even if you don't remember it, and just go with it. And then I enjoyed it so much more once I finally decided to just like let go and let be. So 4 stars. And on to what I am currently reading. Yesterday I was like, let's just stick with the TBR, let's get it over with. And I picked up Hollow City by Ransom Riggs. This is the sequel to Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I got 50 pages in last night, and I was just tired, and I just didn't want to read. I just kind of wanted to lay there and watch TV, so I decided to put this down. And as I was thinking about it, I was like, I'm going to force myself through this because of the fact it's on my TBR. And I don't want to do that because I already kind of didn't really like the first one. So, like, I don't want to force myself into this because if I force myself, I'm not going to like it as much. So I was like, I need to put it down temporarily. If I pick it up this month, I do. If not, that is totally okay as well. So today, I haven't really read that much just because I've been distracted since I got home. But this morning, one of my classes was on a field trip, so I was able to like stay behind, and I'm already like planned all the way to November 6th. So I didn't feel like getting any more ahead of myself. So I like snuck read a little bit. So I got 40 pages into Pretending to Dance by Diane Chamberlain. I had to pick this up. This is just going to be one of those like books that's just for me, like nobody else, and I could just sit there and enjoy it and not have all that built up pressure on me to read everything that I put in my TBR. So I'm excited to continue on with this, whether it's tonight, whether it's tomorrow, and just enjoy it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, leave them down below. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'm going to continue to keep linking my blog down below so you could check out anything that I have had to say about these books in better, eloquent detail. And I will see